What is going on, everybody? Thammagotcha here. Welcome into another video. We're going to be breaking down some of the top teams, in my opinion, for the Great League as it comes back into rotation tomorrow, as well as the Gold Battle weekend this weekend, starting at Saturday and ending on Sunday, where you can do 100 battles each day and gain your rank, hopefully, by using some of these teams. So, team number 1 is going to be Alolan Sandslash, Medicham, and Azumarill. I think Danky Chan made this team, if I'm not mistaken, so shout out to him. If not, I'm very sorry. But this team, very good. If you are seeing a lot of Deoxys leads though, you might want to pivot into a different team, because Deoxys is kind of really hard to handle with this team. But other than that, this team has a lot of coverage. Ice Punch on Medicham. I like to run Power Up Punch on Medicham in case you see a lot of Steel types. And then you have Ice Beam and Play Rough on the Azumarill. You can switch to Hydro Pump, but I like to run the Ice Beam, Play Rough. Also, you have Alolan Sandslash. Honestly, one of the best Pokemon, and I think you want to run the Shadow Claw for this team because you kind of have an answer to Lickitung if you have Power Up Punch Medicham. And Drill Run is going to be hitting the Steelix. Ice Punch is going to be hitting the Gligar. It's just really good team all around. Now, for your safe swap, you're probably going to want to go with the Azumarill, but it depends on what you see in the lead. If you see a Medicham on the lead, you might want to swap into your own Medicham, especially with the Deoxys, to either make them stay in that matchup or make them swap out, and then you have to win switch to get your Azumarill on that Medicham later, and hopefully Alolan Sandslash can clean up whatever is in the back. So that's going to be team 1. I hope you do well with this team. If not, then hey, this team might be the team for you. Team number 2 coming in now. So team number 2 is going to be Medicham, Dewgong, and Frostlass. It's a team I veteran with and did very well with. You can either swap out Medicham or Defense Form Deoxys if you don't have a Medicham, but I do like the Medicham because I run Power Up Punch and Ice Punch. You can run Psychic instead of Ice Punch because you do have 2 ice types in the back, and it's going to be better for the mirror matchup if you run Psychic. Also, Dewgong is going to be your safe swap. Icy Wind, Drill Run, it's not going to do bad against opposing Medichams, and then hopefully Shields Up Frostlass should be able to beat almost everything in the meta. Shadow Ball just hits ridiculously hard. Avalanche hits hard as well, so as long as you have a shield advantage or energy advantage, Frostlass is going to put in a lot of work. Medicham, stable meta pick all around, and then Defense Form Deoxys is just absolutely bonkers as well too. So if you want to swap out for one or the other, I'm sure it's going to do just fine, but I, in my opinion, think that the Power Up Punch Medicham version for this team works out spectacular. You can run Psychic or Ice Punch. Again, it's your decision, it's up to you. I run the Ice Punch version just in case, you know, they swap into a Medicham and they have a Gligar on the lead. Then I get to swap out to my Medicham. I get the farm down. We get to either bait with the Power Up Punch or throw the Ice Punch to KO the Gligar or do massive damage and then come in with the Frostlass and just sweep things up. So that is going to be team number 2. Team number 2 is just going to be really strong. Again, like I said, hit veteran for me, so I really hope it does well for you. And we're going to be jumping into team number 3 is going to consist of Shadow Charizard, Steelix, or Trevenant. Sorry, you can swap out the Steelix for a Registeel, which I think is probably going to be a little bit better. It's a team that I gained really high rank with last season. I used this Charizard, Registeel, Trevenant core to get to Expert. Close to about 2900 rating as well, so it was a very strong team. But I think with Steelix on the lead, or Steelix instead of Registeel, you should be able to get switch advantage or a lot of shields, or farm down with the Charizard with the breaking swipe. So you can run Shadow, non-Shadow Charizard, it's completely up to you, but I prefer the Shadow one. It hits a lot harder, it's going to grab shields, and really nobody builds for a Trevenant nowadays. I mean, if you look at the top teams here, look at the top 2 teams: Medicham, Greninja, Deoxys, Azumarill. Like, those 2 cores there are core broken by Trevenant. Trevenant can destroy Azumarill, Trevenant can destroy Medicham. Greninja, not so much. It's gonna have a little bit of trouble dealing with it, but Registeel, it's gonna be resisting all the moves from Registeel. You just gotta get a couple Shadow Balls off, and hopefully you don't get a debuff from the Zap Cannon. But if you do, not the threat, you just go to double Shadow Ball, you should be good to go, and then Charizard can kind of pick up the back. Also, Steelix can kind of deal with the Gligars, and Charizard has a good matchup with Gligar. You have 2 matchups in the back to deal with the Lantern. Your main safe swap here is going to be Steelix to draw out the Medicham so that you can farm down with the Charizard after, get shields with the Charizard, and then sweep with the Trevenant. Pretty simple team, pretty good team. I was one of my favorite teams to run. I'm going to try it again when the Great League comes back into rotation, so maybe I'll put a full video out on it. I already have one on my channel, all these teams that I'm putting out, you can check out my videos on the channel here. You just kind of scroll down, look for the video with the team on it, and there it is. You can kind of look how I play the team and things like that. But Shadow Charizard, you may want to invest a shield into. I wouldn't go down 2 shields because sometimes Trevenant needs a shield or 2 to win. You might have a little bit of trouble with a Alolan Sandslash with this team. That is the only issue really I see too much. Or if they have a double water line with the Swampert, then, you know, Trevenant can kind of clean house there, but they're going to have Trevenant answers. This team is very, you need a little bit of skill, a little bit of practice to play with it. I'm not going to say you're going to win every single game, but it is very strong and it's a lot of fun to use. Shadow Charizard is just honestly the boss. So that is going to be team number 3 here. We're going to move on to one more team, and then we're going to talk about the top teams here, what I think are going to be good and what you should kind of stay away from. Okay, we're going to be hopping into team number 4 now, based around Superior. You're going to have Lantern on the lead with Water Gun. Homeless Henry kind of showcases his team a little bit, so if you want to watch that video, go check it out down there. But you have Lantern on the lead with Water Gun, Surf, and Thunderbolt, and you have Superior with Frenzy Plant, Aerial Ace. Superior got a huge buff with Aerial Ace, making it a very meta threat with the lack of flyers, and the flyers that are around are going to be ground flying type. So really, you can't really go wrong with any of that. So really can't go wrong with that. And you have Defense Form Deoxys. I think is going to be a better pick than Medicham, but you can run Medicham with Ice Punch for the double coverage against the flyers. But you have the Water Gun, and then you have Superior with Frenzy Plant to kind of hit back the Glygars as well. And Superior kind of walls, let's say, Lantern, kind of walls Lantern. Superior does well against Medicham with the Aerial Ace, does good against Greninja, does good against, decent against Deoxys, kind of a flippable matchup. Dugong's a little bit tricky. You do outpace the Frenzy Plants, which is very well. You could also do well against Lickitung, but the bulk of Lickitung is just going to outbulk you and spam out those body slams pretty fast. But then you also have bulk with Defense Form Deoxys and Lantern. So all around, pretty good team. You're going to lead Lantern. Pretty sure your safe swap is probably going to be Superior, and then you can kind of sweep in the end. But yeah, this is another reason why I'd probably put Medicham instead of Defense Form Deoxys. So you can, if you do have to safe swap into a fighter, you don't have to debuff yourself with the Psycho Boost and you can't get out. So those are going to be the 4 teams that, in my opinion, are going to be really well put together, and hopefully you gain a lot of elo with them. So the first top 2 teams on this meta here: Greninja, Medicham, Registeel. Medicham, Greninja, Registeel. I tried to make this Greninja team work, but there's a lot of Deoxys are on the lead, and Deoxys kind of hard walls this whole team almost. Give it shields and it should do pretty well. Another team that I think is going to be good: Defense Form Deoxys, Azumarill, Sableye. That's going to be a good team in my opinion. Gligar, Dugong, Lantern, double water backline with coverage to flyers. That's going to be good too. It's saying it's Spark. Maybe I'd run Water Gun just to be safe, but Spark should do just fine. Gligar, Lickitung, Lantern, very bulky. Gligar, Dugong, Lickitung, Superior, Dugong. Like the top 2 teams, those are going to be like RPS teams. If you find teams that are like coming in hard at you with fighters, you're going to lose. If there's Medichams you see everywhere, or if there's Deoxys, say a triple counter team, like this team is just going to get absolutely walled. Sure, Greninja could grab shields, Registeel can do a lot, but Medicham with Power Up Punch, Defense Form Deoxys, Thunderbolt should be able to clean house with this team, and then whatever they have in the back with it. So I would try to stay away from those teams. I did try the Greninja Medicham Registeel line. It didn't work out for me. Maybe I can try it again. Who knows? But in my opinion, those 2 teams, stay away from them, in my opinion. Another good one, I think, Superior, Dugong, Medicham. That should be a really good line, kind of what you see on the screen here. Instead of Dugong, you have Lantern, but Dugong as a safe swap is just, it's really good. I mean, if you want to build a team around Dugong, I would, because you can Icy Wind, just like Steelix in the Ultra League. You can really debuff your opponent to the point where you can come in with your first Pokemon. If you lose swap, gain a bunch of energy, get shield advantage, gain yourself an advantage. So if you want to build a team around Dugong, I would say do that, because Dugong is an amazing Pokemon. So that's going to be it for me today. Thank you all so very much for watching. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do, because it really helps out the channel. Check out these videos over here or in my playlist if you want to see how I run the other teams. I haven't run the last team here, but the first 3 teams that I showed you, I did run. So again, thank you all so very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.